give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Ooh.
Okay, I gotta make this video. You know, this has been bugging me all day long, so I gotta do this video. And what I want to get to is here. It's like a fellow YouTuber, Rusty Wallace, said, you know, we all love watching NASCAR, but we really love to talk about it. And this has been really bugging me about Kyle Busch and his L1 penalty in the Xfinity series. Now, I'm not putting down Kyle Busch. I think he's a great driver. He's one of the best drivers out there. His fans, I'm not putting them down. Nobody. This is no disrespect to Kyle Busch. This is the team effort and team stuff I want to talk about in NASCAR's penalties. I want to say for Kyle Busch to go down to the Xfinity series and to win the race with the big cup team, the best car out there, and to get an L1 penalty and get busted for cheating is just wrong, because we got all these other drivers in the Xfinity series trying to make a name, running for a championship, trying to just to prove themselves, and you got these big cup drivers coming down saying, hey, we're going to run this race and we're going to take away your victory, we're going to take away your sponsor, and it just ain't right. I know Kyle wants to get to 100 victories in Xfinity series, which I can understand, but let's do it the right way. Go in there, get your 100 victories, do it without getting an L1 penalty, because it would be, let's just call this, say like LeBron James went and played for the North Carolina Tar Heels in the NCAA tournament. That's kind of what this is similar to. They got better cars than all the other Xfinity teams. He could have won that race without cheating. And I don't even, like I said, I don't know if Kyle even knowed about how the car was set up, with the left side of the car set up a little bit. What it is with that type of track is going through the corners, center of corners, that helped that car out with the heights of the car. It just balanced it up to where it helped it turn a little better through the corner with that left side sticking up at the notch. So, you know, it just frustrates me. This really gets to me to know that this happens. And not only that, NASCAR says, okay, you won the race and you had an L1 penalty, so why not give you a $10,000 fine? Suspend the crew chief, 10 owner points. That's your penalty. If I'm all these other Xfinity teams, I'd be sitting there saying, hey, that $10,000 is worth the victory and 5 playoff points. Why don't we all cheat? That's what I would do. If I was running one of these teams, I'd say, hey, if we can get this victory, the $10,000, we'll pay that off with the race winnings. So, you know, why not? I don't think the penalty is steep enough. That's why all these teams are cheating. That's why they're all trying different stuff, because NASCAR is not, we're not being severe enough on these penalties. In my opinion, if a cup driver comes down to Xfinity and cheats and does that, really, to tell you the truth, the crew chief and the driver should be suspended the rest of the season. Like I said, you've got a lot of young, talented drivers trying to show off their talent, trying to get up there, trying to get a victory, and you got people like this coming down there stealing the thunder. So, I'm saying this, half the drivers in the field probably hadn't even raced at Pocono. Kyle Busch could have won that race without cheating. So, that's just my opinion on it. A lot of people might get mad at me over this, but I just think it's a wrong thing to do. I know in the past, people will say, well, they did it in the past, you know. Yeah, of course they did in the past. That's always going to be like that. But you never seen drivers getting busted with this stuff. And back in, a couple drivers would go race for different teams, like different, you know, it just wasn't structured. It was different back Nowadays, it just ain't right for a Cup driver to come down and do that. So with NASCAR just giving these little silly little penalties, saying, "Well, here, $10,000 Joe Gibbs is nothing." They're going to pay that off and take the trophy home and take the victory, and I'd do it. I mean, that's a lot better than give up 10,000. The crew chief, who cares the crew chief spending? Because he can make the calls on the cell phone. So, I mean, it's I don't know. I just disagree with it. I think it's wrong. I think NASCAR should be a little bit more severe with their penalties. And another thing too, that's hurting the audience attendance too. Because if you got certain people in the race, you know who's going to win it. I've said this before. If Kyle Busch is in it, a couple other Cup drivers, Ryan Blaney, a few other ones, if they're in it, they're going to win the race. One of them is. So you already know who's going to win the race. It's just, and I just think that takes away the thunder. If you take a look at the Dash for Cash races where no Cup drivers are in it, it's awesome. You see great racing. You see people banging each other trying to get off the last turn and win the race like a Dover. I mean, it's fantastic racing. But the Cup drivers come down, the leeches as people call them, and do that. But if you're cheating, that's even further. That steps up further game. So, like I said, I don't agree with it, but I'm not a NASCAR official. I don't make the rules, so I think the fans just need to let them know. Say, hey, let the guys, Xfinity drivers, race. Let them race for a championship. Kyle Busch's got plenty of money. He's got plenty of time to race. Worry about the Cup Series. Don't come down there and win those races in that style. If you're going to race, do it fair and square. And so that's just it. Like I said, nothing against Kyle Busch as a driver or anything. He's a great driver. I just want to get my opinion on that. So if you guys think it's wrong or right, comment below and let me know. No hard feelings if anybody cusses me out, because there might be a Kyle Busch fan out there that says I shouldn't be saying this, but I don't care. I just think it's wrong. But anyway, there you go. You guys have a good